Get this motley crew back in here. Could we please have everyone take their seats? So we can move along to the next item.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you're missing somebody.
Oh, she's coming.
Mr. Chair, please feel free to start.
Oh, it's okay. Okay.
But he's a 30. Heard about that days thing.
All right, we will go ahead and move on to item 9. This is ordinance third reading. It's ordinance 2012-038. This is an ordinance authorizing a fee in lieu of tax arrangement and infrastructure financing agreement on behalf of Sargent Metal Fabricators, the company, pursuant to a fee in lieu of tax agreement between Anderson County, South Carolina, the county, and the company. And Mr. Nelson, but he's not here. Mr. Pitts, maybe, or Mr. Burns?
Mr. Chairman, this is third reading. I make the motion we move this on, get on the floor anyway.
All right, I will second that motion. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor of the ordinance signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous. All right, moving on to item 10, ordinance first reading, 2012-041.
I got it.
This is an ordinance to waive and relinquish certain repurchase rights and options of Anderson County with respect to real property located in the Anderson Regional Airport Industrial Air Park in order to facilitate economic development activity and other matters related thereto. Mr. Burns?
Mr. Chairman, we have an opportunity for a company to locate at the airport. It is right there, the corner right across from Southwind. This land was previously owned by Lakeside Metal Company, who purchased it some time ago. They never built on that site. This is a private company. They wish to purchase this land from this other company. In our ordinances, it states that whenever land is sold at the airport, the county has the first right to repurchase. This company is going to move in there, create 40 jobs, and build a 70,000 square foot building, and they would like to do it straight away. There's no fee in lieu involved in this whatsoever. It is just our permission to allow this sale to go forward.
All right, I will put that in the form of a motion. Is there a second? By Mr. Crowder. Any discussion? So this is basically our refusal, that we're not going to...
That is all it is.
That's what this is about, okay? No discussion? All those in favor of the ordinance signify by raising your right hand. The vote is unanimous. Yes.
I'll need to ask a question, please. It's along the same lines, but may I?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
please.
you. Mr. Burns, could you please tell me what happened to the company that was going to come into the airport? It was a company like Caterpillar.
That was a joint. That was.
Excuse me.
That was a joint project
I'm not
between.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
It was a company like Caterpillar who wanted to come in and teach people how to operate the big machines through Tri-County Tech.
Yes, ma'am.
And the only thing they were asking of us is to give them a piece of the land out there so they could do this training. Whatever happened to that?
At the request of council, we had a survey done. We had a professional come in and give us the ideal location for that to occur. We're still working with Tri-County Tech. It should probably appear before council, possibly at the next meeting, no later than the next meeting. It is not with Caterpillar. It would be with Blanchard Machinery, who is a large distributor for Caterpillar.
Yes.
But that project is very much alive and will be coming before council shortly.
Good. Well, we haven't heard anything about it since they brought it to one of the meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
But thank you for your correction that it wasn't Caterpillar. I did remain.
But Ms. Floyd, that's
company.
easy to make that because Blanchard is one of the largest sellers of Caterpillar equipment, and they are almost, whenever you think of Blanchard, you think of Caterpillar.
Okay, so there's a possibility that Anderson County will have a facility that will train people how to operate big machines,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Good. And we'll be the only one in the South, in the state.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. That's good. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Wilson.
Back to the ordinance that we just passed, I wanted to point out there's a typo about midway down. It must be the same typewriter that was used on a previous, or computer program that was used on a previous ordinance for, I think, an economic development fee in lieu and tax agreement. And if you look down, it says owned a certain 12 acres. They've put 12.000. So it's just, a typo. And I just wanted to point out.
All right.
Typo.
Okay.
Look at Phil.
All right. Any other comments? If not, let's move on to item number 11, report from the Finance Committee. Mr. Crowder.
Chairman, we'll try to dispose of this in groups if it meets with the fellow council members' desires. The first item is capital road and bridge request. Mr. Hopkins, Mr. Carroll, you going to come forward? He wants to save us some money.
Mr. Chairman, before you have two bids for trucks for the Roads and Bridges Department. The first bid recommendation is for Christopher Trucks for $82,552. The second truck is a single axle dump truck, also to Christopher Trucks, $66,562. As you can see by the second page in your agenda, one item is a little under budget, one's a little over budget, but still, the net is we're still within budget of the $150,000 for the two trucks. And we request permission to purchase both of these from Christopher Truck. Additional information on the tandem duct truck, the first one, we sent it to 13 different dealers and got the two responses that you see there on your sheet. And on the second, we sent it to 12 different dealers and got two responses, including every dealer in the county.
Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee recommends these for council's consideration.
All right. Coming from committee, no seconds needed. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show that, Mr. Waters, are those in favor? Raise your right hand. Let the record show the vote is unanimous.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we have two groups of transfers. The first group is actually a rather detailed group that begins on page 11B. These are transfers for the previous fiscal year as part of the year-end closing. And so you can go through those. I will not read them line by line unless someone desires to do so. But the Finance Committee has reviewed these and recommends them to council for their approval.
All right. No second is needed. Is there any discussion on those transfers? If not, those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The vote is unanimous. Thank you, sir.
All right, if you go further on, it's a little bit disjointed in that some pages were out of order, but you need to start looking for a page that's a short page like this. I'll take it out of my book. I like to never found it myself. That says Finance Meeting 11/13/2002, fiscal year 2012-2013. These are actually transfers to accommodate changes in budget requirements for the current additional year. You will see that they include everything from part-time salary, overtime salary.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, council member from District 1 can wait for a few minutes to find out where he is.
Sure, I'll be glad to.
There's several of us have not found where he is yet.
I'm still digging too. Is that on through the transfer sheets?
It was out of order. You just need to keep going back, and you'll ultimately find it. And then I brought it forward. See, if we had our iPads, everything would be right.
Would be all right.
Okay, what's the first item on it?
The first item on it is clerk of court salaries. The part-time salary is $3,000, interim to work
Got you.
during Christmas
Good,
break.
thank you. I ain't got it.
Yeah.
I'm out of it.
It's kind of hid back in there. I did not put the book together, but anyway,
I
yeah.
think that's where it is in Ken. Yeah, if you get
I found it. All right, did you find it, Miss Lloyd? It's way, yeah, about 7 pages. There you go.
7 pages.
That's right.
Okay, ready to move on? Take a look at it. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Crowder.
Well, the Finance Committee recommends approval of these items.
All right, no second is needed. Is there any discussion? Items?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Lloyd.
If we are on, if I am on the right page, we talking clerk of court
Yes.
salaries, and it says an intern to work during Christmas break, $3,000. That's for, the break lasts, what, about 4 or 5 weeks?
Now, this is actually for this fiscal year. These are budget request changes so that the clerk of court can use some of his salary money for part-time people during the Christmas holidays to come. Keep in mind that they don't go spend the money and then ask for forgiveness.
Well, I'm aware of that, but my question is, evidently they're going to hire more than one person for this part-time internship at $3,000 for about 4 or 5 weeks. Am I correct?
I don't understand. This is,
Rita, how many people do they plan to hire? It wasn't in the documentation.
As you recall, the family court moved into the Register of Deeds area, and the Honorable Richard Shirley asked for money last fiscal year to hire interns. This is a continuation of that to move the files and organize them. I would venture to say, at that time, it was about 4 or 5, so I'd venture to say
all right.
2 or 3.
All right, Ms. Davis, stand there, please. Thank you. Ms. Davis, I understand that. But my question was, and you just answered it finally, you said that it's about 4 or 5 people will share into this $3,000 for over the Christmas holiday, if that's what they did last year.
That's what he did last year.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. But you know something? I'm interested in who some of these interns are going to be. But I'll take that up with Mr. Shirley, okay? But I sure do thank you for explaining it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
yes, ma'am. Any other questions or discussion? If not, those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show. Ms. Floyd, were you going to vote?
Yeah, but I had I had one more thing here. Repairs to the building is coming out and is going into lodging is $5,000 for specialized training that is not attainable at the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy. What kind of training is that?
That's later. We ain't got there yet.
No, we were getting ready to vote on the whole thing, huh?
That's part of this.
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know what that 5,000, I mean, I don't know what that training is. I don't know what kind
The
of
sheriff's still here
training.
with us. There he is. Sheriff, could you help us?
We had to answer.
As I understand it from our accountant, when we go to the academy, when the academy dorms are full and all, then they put them up at a local motel, and we're just moving one part of our money from one account to another to continue that through the rest of the year.
But it says for specialized training
Right.
that is not obtainable at the South Carolina Criminal. It doesn't say for lodging or...
Right, but what I'm saying is when they go down there, they use the academy. Some are classes at the academy, some are at motels, some are at It's those classes that we can't do at the academy, but are sponsored through the academy and through other vendors.
Yeah, the money is being requested to move from repairs and building to lodging, so that these people can.
Yeah. I mean, it's just to cover some expenses. We haven't spent as much money in that one account as we had in our training account, and we're just moving that over there.
Okay. Sheriff, District 2 is not one who did in your budget business, because I think it's up to you. I don't think you need to even come before us about your money, as long as it's within budget. But it does say for specialized training. It says lodging on one side, but training on the other. So that's the only reason why I question it.
Exactly, and I guess his wording there is
Yes.
when you have that training, it's to lodge them in a place when they go to these seminars for the training.
Yes,
Because the training fee comes out of another account.
Well, I appreciate that. Being that I wasn't at the meeting.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to know just a little bit more, and you did a good job answering it. Thank you. Sheriff, while you up there, there's one more. May I?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
There's 2 employees working in the victim budget, only budgeted for one. That's $6,400. In your budget, you only put in there for, Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am.
In your budget, you only put one person in there?
Right, and that might be better explained, hopefully, by Rita, because that's the victim advocate money comes through the court system, and it's a whole separate account.
Is it pass-through money?
Pass-through money for victim advocate that we moved.
It's special revenue money,
Right.
yes, ma'am, that the victims pay in accordance with the state statutes.
Okay.
And in these years, it has been diminishing, and so consequently, we're had to move some costs to the general fund, and that's what this represents. We only budgeted for one, so this is moving money from the sheriff's department to cover that health insurance.
But it's pass-through money, it's not...
And the pass-through money is not quite making up for all the expenditures.
I understand. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. Yes, Mr. Crowder?
If you look at documentation that's included in the packet right behind this table, there is documentation for all of these items. If you look at page 5 or 6, the sheriff very clearly says additional lodging during specialized training not obtainable at BC Criminal Justice Academy.
Mr. Crowder, all due respect to you, sir, there are times when you can't even read this stuff in the back. Sometimes they're handwritten, and it's hard to read. The ones that we have this time, it's got spots all over it, and you can't read it. And you really can't read, but that's all due respect to you, sir. I understand that, but I still stand by the thing where it said lodging, but then the other side it says training. And I thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll tell you what.
All right, so we're back on the vote now. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous on that, and I thank you, Mr. Crowder. I thank you for the way you handled the transfers, and I think that was done very well. And all of this is public information. We've all had it. We've had a chance to look at it, and if anybody has any questions, any of us will certainly be glad to discuss line item by line item.
I tried to, but anyway.
The next item, Chairman, is relative to the Cessna contract. You'll see on the agenda it says executive session, and the only reason that was because it was necessary during the Finance Committee to scrutinize the draft contract in executive session because it contains proprietary information from the Cessna Corporation which cannot be disclosed and is part of this agreement. It only revolves around the area of proprietary information and not contract terms and conditions that are fully disclosable. And so consequently, in addition to that, if you read the contract with Cessna, and congratulate our aeronautics department for going forward and getting this facility to be here in Anderson County, because like many of the economic development things that we do for manufacturing businesses and other forms of service business, this will actually be a twofold economic driver and that it'll be an economic driver to itself, but it will also assist other companies who are aviation-oriented or need aviation support to be more attuned to the fact that Anderson County is an up-and-coming and keeping track of its aviation assets. So you will find not only the contract itself, but also at that time we did not have the resolution that Mr. Pitts provided in your packet tonight, which is Resolution 2012-086, which basically just allows council to approve the contract. So the Finance Committee makes recommendation that you approve the Cessna contract and also approve the resolution.
All right, is there any discussion? If not, those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous, and we send our congratulations out to Mr. Vibbard. Congratulations back there. I think that, yeah, you're hiding back there, aren't you? Okay, good deal. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Crowder.
All right, there's also one that's going to be hard to find. In fact, I can't even find it myself right now. The tab's falling off of it. It's actually a two-page item where Mr. Hopkins makes a, oh, here it is. It's after section 11D. If you look at the blue tab 11D, it's supposed to be behind it. You have to just go a little further and find it. What you will find is some paperwork that request that that full council approves allowing Mr. Hopkins to promote two people to lead auto equipment technicians at a salary of $36,000. And what the reason this is precipitated is because anytime a promotion exceeds 105% of the base salary now, it has to come to council for. And Mr. Hopkins made a plea to the fact that lead automotive equipment technicians are very hard to find now, that there's a lot of competition, and there will continue to be a lot of competition as we continue to recruit industries like First Quality and others into our county. So the Finance Committee recommends the approval of these two positions to be upgraded to pay grade 24.
Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the Finance Committee report.
All right, I thank you, sir. Moving on to item number 12, accommodations tax approval. This is something that we've had a little bit of time to look at, and at this point I would guess we put this in the form of a motion and then open it for discussion. So I'll put it in the form of a motion. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Dunn. All right, any discussion? Yes, Ms. Wilson.
The one that deals with South Carolina Upstate Equine Council, I should abstain from. It would be nice if that could be separated out, so I would not.
Okay. That was for the one on the Equine Council.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other discussion?
I would.
Yes.
A couple of questions.
Yes.
Number one, if you look at the very first page, you'll see the applicant is Planet Upstate and Project Anderson Bully Bowl. I reckon typically you don't think friendly of bullies. You know.
Dog show. It's a dog show.
Is this for pit bulls so that they can be facetious? I'm just curious. And the other one was, I get both mine off my mind at one time. If you look through there, GAMAC was going to get some small amount of money, but yet the Electric City Playhouse was going to get a little bit more money. And since both of those venues are in my district, I wonder why one was recommended to get more and one was recommended to get less. Mr. Brill?
To your first question, Mr. Crowder, the dog show is for English Bulldogs. It's not for Pit Bulls.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. I wanted somebody that would know what was going on. Okay.
As a dog owner myself, I wouldn't want a Pit Bull show in our county either.
Thank you, sir.
And in terms of the $250 difference between Electric City Playhouse and GAMAC, that was just a judgment call by the Accommodations Tax Review Committee. They just decided to give $750 to one and $1,000 to another.
Yeah. Oh. Is it based on? I thought all of this was based on the possibility of drawing tourism. That was the basis of giving out accommodation taxes. Is that true or not true?
It is, and the committee found that the potential of the Playhouse to bring tourists was greater than for the GAMAC concerts. That was based on the information that the Playhouse gave us in terms of the tracking they do of where their people are coming from to see the shows. And they are coming from a further distance away than the information GAMAC gave us.
But would either one of them actually spend the night here?
No.
So we actually generate no accommodation tax, basically, from either one, as well as other projects within here.
That is correct.
Yeah. So technically, we have a lot of projects that we're giving away stuff, already anticipating the fact that we're not going to generate any accommodation tax as a result of doing that.
That's true, but I can tell you that this year the level of grants we got that were the potential of putting heads in beds is the highest we've ever received.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes,
Ms. Floyd.
Oh.
Go ahead, Ms. Floyd. Yes.
Yes, I can't find it now, but I was concerned about the one with the downtown Christmas tree. They didn't get anything again this year. If I didn't misread that, I can't even find it again. It was the main. Okay, there it is. It's the Main Street Holiday Walk and street lighting. Last year they didn't get anything either, but they do bring people into Anderson. It's not all about heads and beds. I'm sure it's about getting people to come to Anderson to spend money otherwise, restaurants or whatever else we have here to offer. They only requested $1,500, but they didn't get anything last year, anything this year. And I see other places here that have gotten bukus of money, and they don't. I mean, these are far outreached places that I'm sure that they can draw just about the same thing that the Main Street program draws, and I just can't understand. I just don't understand that.
Well, Ms. Floyd, the Main Street program submitted 4 ATAX grants to Anderson County, and the committee agreed to fund 3 of them. The 3 that we did agree to fund, we thought had a much greater potential for bringing tourists to our community than the Holiday Walk and tree lighting did.
Well, there are other places in here, too, that submitted 3 and 4 grants. And they got them all. So, like, what's the difference? The gentleman from District 1 is fighting for his area, and I'm fighting for mine, and I know other places are fighting for theirs, too. But there's one in here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 requests, 6 requests, and they got it all. And I know that my area is probably bigger and will draw more people. So I just don't understand. I've never understood this for a long time. Who are the members that on the accommodation tax board? Are these the same people that we appoint?
Yeah, each district has one appointee, Ms. Floyd.
Can you explain that to me? You know, just why is it that one district, smaller, can get so much?
It's based on the quality of the applicant and the committee's feel for what it will do to bring tourists to our area. One of the things that Mr. Crowder asked me to do was to break out the accommodations tax grant recommendations by district, and of the 7 districts, District 2 is the 4th highest.
No. No. No,
It is.
no, I think you might need to look at District 3.
Right. District 4 is number 1, District 3 is number 2, District 1 is
What
number
is number
3.
1?
District 4 is number 1.
That's your district? That's Pendleton. Oh, good. Thank you.
And then District 2 is number 4.
District 1 gets 29,000, District 2 gets 26,000, District 3, that's Belton, gets 35,000, District 4, Pendleton, gets 35,000. I do know Pendleton is our historic society place here in Anderson County. Okay, District 5, that's you? Oh, you only get $7,000.
Got to put in for it to get it.
They put in for it.
Not my district. I mean,
Oh, okay, all right. District 6, you got 10, and District 7, you only got 7. But it seems like District 4 and District 3, you know, they're getting all the money, but, you know, that's fine, too. If that's the way y'all see it, that's fine. Thank you. Excuse me. All right.
All right, is there any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, we have to take that equine out. I know.
I just going to, get you to take it with you.
That we separate out item number 41, and then I will abstain from that.
All right.
And you,
So the motion to be made will be to accept the ATAX information as presented, minus item 41, which deals with the equine council and the monies that they had requested, and we would like to go ahead and vote on that this time. I'll put that in the form of a motion if there's a second.
Voted.
Okay, we're voting on all this except for the equine council, which we've pulled out. All right, so all those in favor, raise your right hand. Record show the vote is unanimous. Now we'll go back and make a motion to accept the dollar amounts for the equine council. I'll put that in the form of a motion. And second by Mr. Moore. Ms. Wilson will abstain from this vote, so those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous, and Ms. Wilson has abstained.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
The first vote was not unanimous. I didn't vote because I was waiting for you to call. For those who... I didn't vote on the first
I thought you had your hand up. So we'll go back and take that vote over again.
Uh-huh.
All right. We're going to go back and take the first vote over again. This was on the ATAX monies, minus the equine council dollars. Those in favor, as presented in the book, signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show Mr. Waters, Mr. Dunn, Mr. Allen, Mr. Moore, Mr. Crowder, and Ms. Wilson in favor. Those opposed. Those abstaining. Ms. Floyd is abstaining. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, and the second vote was okay. We didn't have any problems with that one. All right, moving on to item 13, appointments to various boards and commissions. Ms. Wilson.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to appoint, with our council's affirmation, Mr. Darrell A. Iverson to the Human Relations Council. His backup materials are included in our package, and he seems to be eminently well qualified, so we're very thankful. I put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Record show the vote is unanimous. Anyone else, Ms. Wilson?
That's all.
Okay, Mr. Crowder? Do you have any appointees?
No, sir.
Mr. Moore?
Not this time, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Floyd?
I don't have any at this time.
Mr. Dunn?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have none this time. I would like to remind council members, I think we've got 3 or 4 vacancies on the appeals board, and they can't have no meetings. We need to get that took care of before council members look at their appointees on that and get it took care of.
All right. Yes.
Appeals, the appeals
Zoning
board.
appeals?
Zoning appeals.
Board. Yeah,
May
Mr.
I ask
Crowder?
a question?
Yes.
Legal question. Since council changes January 1st, if we appoint somebody now, does that mean they drop off if they have a 2-year term in November of years from now?
Mr. Crowder, I'd have to research that to give you a definitive answer. I wouldn't think so, but I don't want to give you an off-the-cuff response that's not right.
Yeah, because, sir,
I said I don't want to give you an off-the-cuff response that's not correct. I would not think so, but I've not ever looked at that issue. It's never come up before.
Okay.
I'll be happy to look at that for you, sir.
Trying to save all mine up. I'll have about 5 or 6 or 7.
Well, I just think the chairman keeps contacting, they can't have a meeting. It's very important, so this needs to be, needs to get filled.
I agree with you.
This is one of the boards that does meet regular and has a lot of material to go over.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Mr. Crowder, were you finished?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ms. Floyd.
I was appointed as chairman, well, not a chairman, but I was appointed to bring all of that information together, and you appointed a committee so we could look at this, and I reported to you one time, I think it was last month before last, that I was ready to make a report. But it's just a matter of us getting together to look at all the information I've gotten and see just what kind of tweaks that needs to be made on it. Sometimes the problem is the meeting time. We have some folks meeting at 1 o'clock in the daytime, and I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair to the majority of the people who would want to participate, but they're working. But anyway, this is things like that we need to sit down and go over. And right now, I'm asking the members of this committee to please, let's try to meet at the first of the year or before the end of the year. It's up to you. So we can sit down and go through this so we can appoint these people.
Good point. Yes. All right. Anything else, Ms. Floyd? Were you finished?
I am, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Moore?
You reckon we could get an attendance and see whose district appointees are not attending so that we know which ones we need to replace?
Certainly. I think we could we could do that.
I think, excuse me, and Ms. Floyd's probably got this information in her committee, but I think if you miss 3 or 4 meetings unexcused, you're supposed to automatically be reappointed. That's the way it was when I was on there. I'm pretty sure that's correct.
But part of the problem...
We need that list. Excuse me.
Part of the problem is that so many terms have expired, and the people don't know whether they're still supposed to be on there or still supposed to be off of there, okay? And then we have some meetings where the people don't want to have to deal with the department. Over they have so many complaints. But anyway, I have researched that, and I thank you for that. But it's all ready. I have it in a notebook, and as I reported, it's ready to go. But you being the chair, I was hoping that you would call, the meeting. So, like I said, after Christmas would be fine, but it need to be at the first of the year.
Okay.
Or before the year ends would be fine.
All right. We need to do that. We'll get it done. All right. Mr. Waters, did you have any?
I do. I have one, and I apologize for not getting it in the notebook, but I should have been handed out in your mail. And he want to replace Billy Osborne on I bring this as a motion, the Zoning Appeals Board. I want to replace Billy Osborne with Leroy Walls.
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion? Not, those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The vote is unanimous. All right, and I have none at this time either. Requests by council members. Mr. Waters.
I have none at this time.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Waters, the bathroom project, $35,000.
Oh, okay. I didn't see any paperwork on that, so we're ready to do that.
Yeah, since it's a transfer between from one county department to another county department, that's all that is.
Okay. I do. I bring this in the form of a motion to allot $35,000 to build a restroom up at Hurricane Springs Park.
Second.
All right. Second. Any discussion? Okay, and that money is coming from where?
That money's going to come from his road allocation
Okay.
to match $60,000 that is there.
Okay.
And that, what he is requesting is up to 35. It may not be necessary for the total amount.
All right. All right. What else? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. The vote is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Waters. Mr. Dunn.
At this time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to appropriate $200 out of District 5's recreation account for the Disabled American Veterans Anderson Chapter 40 on behalf of the Anderson County Veterans Association for the parade. Veterans Parade they put on. Help for that.
I second that. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is
I believe that is what they asked for, $200.
That is. That's correct, for the parade, yes. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Floyd?
Yes, I do have one. This one is, I received a letter from the Main Street program of Anderson County, and they are asking that Anderson County partner with them for another great block party season next year. We spend the off-season restocking and refurbishing our equipment. With our new location next year, it's going to be over here in the parking lot. We hope to beat all attendance records and bring it in some bigger and better bands. If it please the council, we would like to request $2,500 to go to this effort. We have always believed that this is our way of economic development for our community. Whatever we receive will be appreciated. Many thanks and hope to see you at the next block party. It's signed Jeffrey Waters of Main Street. He did not send in the form. Even though we talked about the form, this is what he sent. And I'm asking council now if this will substitute for the letter, or do I have to go back and have him fill it out? I'll do either. I'll do anything that you direct me to do.
I don't know if we can.
I think we just need to make sure he's got the paperwork. My way of thinking. I mean, when I say that, make sure he's a legal entity or whatnot, get the thing, and I didn't know nothing about it. I'll try to consider it. I can't do it tonight, but I'll try to consider it next council meeting.
We may need to get the paperwork just so there's no question about it. And it's not an urgent thing because the block parties won't start up until next summer anyway. So let's get, then there will be no question about it.
Well, we did talk about that. I think this is an important thing for Anderson County. Mr. Allen, I have never seen you down there doing the funky chicken. But
you missed it. You weren't there that night.
Yeah. I think that you need to come down there. I think all of you need to come down and see.
Will you do the funky chicken with me if I go down?
Well, if I can get my funky leg fixed.
Oh, okay. All right. I hear you.
But folks, you need to go down to the block party. You can just sit there and look. But let's be cordial. Let's be cordial. Let the people see you out there, okay? So I will go back to him and ask him if he would do it again and put it in that form that we talked about, and I will re-bring it up, okay?
All right. That sounds good. Anything else, Ms. Lloyd? Was that?
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to also appropriate $200 to American Veterans Anderson Chapter 40.
All right.
That form of motion.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous.
And also, I would like to give $300 to the South Carolina Upstate Equine Council on their lights, sound system. Put that in form of motion.
All right. I'll second that. Discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Record show the vote is unanimous. And, I'm sorry, Ms. Wilson abstained from that. So it's a...
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to put, for Ms. Wilson, I'd like to appropriate $700 to the, out of her recreational account to the Equine Council.
All right, I'll second that. Any discussion?
Yes, why? I mean, what happened?
He did the first one out of his account. Now he's doing Ms. Wilson's because she is abstaining from that because she's on the board of the Equine Council.
That could be done.
It's a good thing she's allowed me to spend her money.
Yeah. Her money.
Yeah, but I know somebody else could do it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's good information. Thank you.
Okay, those in favor, raise your right hand. The record show the vote is 6 in favor, and Ms. Wilson abstained from that vote. Mr. Crowder?
I'd like to do, out of my recreation account, I'd like to do 3 all at one time if it's agreeable.
Absolutely.
The first one is to the disabled veterans in the amount of $200 that they requested. You'll also notice that they requested additional monies for their Carolyn, that they're trying to raise $70,000, and they've raised most of it, so I'd like to give $500 out of my recreation account for that. And then I'd like to give $500 to Anderson University out of their Students for Entrepreneurial Development.
All right. Form of a second. Second by Mr. Dunn. Any discussion? All right, those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous. All right, Ms. Wilson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have several, and I will lump them together. First of all, from District 7's recreation account, $500 to Anderson University students in free enterprise, $200 to the disabled American veterans for the parade expense, and $500 to the Disabled Veterans Association to complete the Caroline project at the Dolly Cooper Veterans Cemetery, and $5,000 to the Shutter Youth Center for their programs and maintenance cost, and also $1,000 from District 7's recreation account to the Haven of Rest for the housing request, and that's in the form of a motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dunn. Is there any discussion? Not those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous. I have...
I've got some more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
From District 7's paving account, $25,000 to the town of Williamston for their driveway aprons and paving and ditching needs in the city limits. And that's, I've got two, but this one's for the paving, and that's in the form of a motion.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand.
And
The vote is
second,
unanimous.
the next one would be from District 7's accommodation tax, the hard money funding to the town of Williamston, $10,000 for the new fence requirement around the spring and the Mineral Spring Park. That's in the form of a motion.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Not those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous. All right, any others? Ms. Wilson?
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moore, did you have?
Yes, I do. I left one out. I would like to appropriate $1,200 to the Belton Honey Path Fall Basketball League. Put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dunn. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor, raise your right hand. Vote is unanimous. All right, and I have two. I would, out of my recreation account, I'd like to give $200 to the disabled American veterans, and this is for the county, the Veterans Parade that we had, and they did an excellent job on that. And I would also like to do another $500, again for the disabled American veterans, but this is for the Caroline Project 2 down at Dolly Cooper Park, and this is going to be a very large affair down there with the bells and the whole thing they've been trying to get together for some time, so I'd like to make those two appropriations out of my rec account.
Second.
In form of a motion. Second by Mr. Dunn. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand. The record show the vote is unanimous. All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Crowder.
Out of my recreation account, $3,000 to the Haven of Rest.
All right, I'll second that. Is there any discussion? And those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Dunn.
Good, go back. I'd like to go back and appropriate another $400 for a total of $600 to the American veterans. Make them whole on that parade.
Oh, okay. All right, second that. Any discussion? All right, those in favor, raise your right hand. The vote is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
Mr. Chairman, just for the sake of knowing, do we have any veterans up here except for Mr.
Valley.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about you. I'm so sorry. Okay, all right, good. Good, thank you. It was just for the sake of my wanting to know.
Mr. Crowder, he was
Yeah.
a trained killer at one time. Okay. Okay. All right, moving on to item 15, the administrator's report.
Just two things, Mr. Chairman. If you will note in your packet, number C, that the county received a $750,000 matching grant to be used on the Green Pond Landing Event Center. And if you will look under that on the next page, you will see that we've received a technical assistance grant from the National Park Service for the development of the 45-mile Saluda River Blueway, and would like to thank and congratulate very much Mr. Matt Shell, Sharon Nicometto, and Steve Newton for all of their hard work in working on these projects diligently. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, moving on to item 16, discussion of moving the December 4th, 2012 council meeting to a later date, such as December 11th. But I think a question came up on that, and do we have any discussion on moving that meeting? The 4th, there's something else going on that evening in the way of economic development that some of us have to attend, so we'd like to move that meeting to a different date during the first part of the month.
How many of you that have to attend it?
I know I have to.
Okay, anybody else?
I don't know who, I'm not sure who else is going.
Mr. Chairman, this is a major economic development initiative. It will require 2 members of council. The specific request was for the chairman and for the vice chairman. Other officials will be invited, but they will be state and other officials.
Okay, all right. All right, yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Floyd.
Is that going to make us having to meet on the 11th and the 18th?
No, that's what we're going to discuss tonight, whether we want to move this date, maybe only have one meeting in December, or how we want to do it. So this is what's open for discussion right now. And Mr. Moore, did you have a...
Mr. Chairman, you reckon we could move that to Thursday? There's a lot of vacation that's going on for a lot of people. It's already made plans. You could do it to that Thursday instead of that Tuesday, same week.
Make that the 13th? Is that what you're saying? All right. Okay, that's one option, is to move it to the 13th on the Thursday.
We couldn't do both. What time do y'all have to be at this other thing?
I think it's 6. Yeah, I believe it's 6, and it's probably going to run at least 2 or 3 hours.
Well, could we not move the meeting from 6 o'clock until maybe at 4 o'clock so we can go on with our schedules and our meetings?
4 o'clock on Tuesday? It's a possibility. Let's discuss it.
Okay, in defense of that, I think that a 4 o'clock meeting would keep us on schedule with what we have to do, right? Knowing that you guys got to be out of there. But it's not all of us.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So I feel like I can't do it on the 11th, and I don't want to be penalized for missing the meeting just because 2 of you have to do something. At 4 o'clock, I can make it here earlier from 4 until 5:30. We can have an abbreviated meeting without my being taken off the agenda. That's what
Okay.
I think we ought to, that's my suggestion.
It'd be on the 4th, and then if we did that, you're talking about having a second meeting in December also?
No, I like the idea of no meeting.
Or no meeting? Well, that was going to be my
Yeah.
point, because that's going to be getting so late in the month.
Yeah.
that-
I've earned it.
Okay, so that's an option.
Well,
Mr. Crowder.
I just, a point of order, I need to ask Mr. Burns something. There have been preliminary discussions about the possibility of having to have a finance committee meeting because of the possibility of an inducement agreement for economic development. So if we put it on the night of when you're going to be meeting with the people, I mean, you can't do that.
No, sir. It could very possibly be, if council moved it to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that would allow enough time to make the other meeting. But it would also be possible that we would need to have another meeting, at least a called meeting, to handle some economic development matters that are fast-moving. But we could not give you the exact time right now.
Okay, so even if we have this meeting at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, we might still have to have another called economic
And let's hope,
meeting.
Mr. Chairman, and let's hope we do.
Amy,
But we ain't gonna know that or not. But my question would be, Mr. Mork, is it gonna bother you? Can you make a 4 o'clock meeting?
What did he say?
He can make a 4 o'clock
can.
meeting.
I'd rather keep it.
Well, if it's 4 o'clock, then that's fine with me. Oh, what about you, Mr.?
Yeah, I can do that too.
Well, I make motion we move to 4 o'clock, same date.
Okay.
Second, Mr. Moore.
Second.
Hey, let me second it.
All right, go ahead and second it.
I
Ms. Floyd.
second it.
Ms. Floyd seconded it, okay. So that would be 4 PM on the 4th, on that Tuesday, all right?
Yeah.
Any other discussion on that? And knowing that we may have to have another called meeting sometime during the month, which we don't know when
Okay,
that
now,
may
but
be.
remember, when you do your call meetings, it's Christmas time, and people are going to be out of town.
I know, but
Yeah.
this called meeting is going to be controlled by certain economic development that they won't care if somebody wants to go on Christmas vacation, I have a feeling.
They won't
So
care.
we-
Most job
the company won't.
will acquiesce.
This is a corporation that,
Well, evidently, y'all know more about it than I, because I haven't heard of anything coming in, but anyway, whatever. If I can make it, I'll be here. If I can't
Okay.
make it, then I'll be there.
okay, all right. So all those in favor of moving the December meeting to 4 PM on the 4th, raise your right hand. All right, the vote is unanimous. The meeting will be at 4 PM on the 4th. All right? Moving on to citizens' comments on other matters. Again, this is, you can speak on any item that's not on the agenda. There's a 3-minute time limit.
He has to say.
And, well, yeah. Hold on, we have a sign-up sheet, so let me ask Mr. Pitts. Is there anybody, we got 2 people on the sheet. Okay, who do we have, Mr. Pitts?
Floyd first up, followed by Elizabeth Fair.
Okay.
Hey, Denny.
Denny Floyd. Mr. Floyd?
How you doing? Denny Floyd, Council District 5. I've been home for about 10 months after being gone for 22 years. So I've done a lot of reading and research. All stuff's gone on in this county and stuff. And there's one thing I got to say. I had to wait till now to say it. But Miss Wilson, you one heck of a lady. I have read some stuff and I cannot believe it. I don't know, I can't even understand how you had been skipped for that chair job all these years. It just doesn't make sense to me. You have proved yourself as a leader over and over and over again. Now, Mr. Dunn, I appreciate what you said about a month and a half ago. You said you always do what's right. Well, I expect that to happen. I really do. And the rest of the council members, I feel sure that you would follow suit, because I feel like you'd do the same thing he would do, the right thing. And it's just amazed me at the stuff that I have read and researched on the internet at what all I missed in 22 years I was gone in the military. I've just been amazed. Miss Wilson, I can tell you this, I've done a lot of detachments in my career, 2 of them into hostile territory. I had 15 members I had to pick and carry with me. You would have been one I would have picked, because I knew I could count on you. Somebody who wouldn't crumble. That's one thing you count for. So I want to say I appreciate it. And I'm not sure I heard something right to get off that subject, but I'm sorry. I think I heard that we took $35,000 from roads to build a bathroom. Well, why didn't we just go ahead and add $500 more, build an outhouse so we can fill up those potholes? Y'all have a good day.
Elizabeth Fair.
Elizabeth Fant, District 3. I don't think I can top that. I want to talk about advertisement of events in South Carolina, especially the ATAX money. Number 7, the Anderson Convention and Visitors Bureau getting $4,400 for ads in the Southern Living. That's probably one of the best examples of use of money that you could do. Southern Living is read by everybody. It's in doctors' offices. People order it. It's just a great way to showcase any county. Also, recently, I meant to bring it with me, but there was a small little booklet about Anderson County recently that I picked up that had everything in there from the Tour de France to Williamston Water Festival, listed all the local festivals, the standpipe, and so forth. And those are the things right now that are keeping these little towns afloat. So whoever put that out, and I think it was the Anderson Convention and Visitors Bureau that did that. Real good thing. Again, last week, or whenever we met, I talked about the museum, and I talked about how they now had these little fourth of a sheet little advertisements about things that are going on in the museum and how effective that is. Advertising doesn't have to be expensive to be effective. I recently went this last week to an event that they had at the museum where they had a book signing. And it took a little while, so I wandered around to see some of what I hadn't seen in the museum. There's just a wealth of history there. So if you haven't been, take an opportunity to go. It's worth going to see what the museum has to offer. And I'm glad to see that they're advertising more things like the mistletoe market and some of these other things that they just need to get the word out. And on another note, I remember Lee Iacocca when he took over the Chrysler Corporation and changed that from a down-spiraling company to one of respect and making money again. And I remember when Ronald Reagan was in office. The two had something very much in common, and that is that they communicated to people easily. They got people on their side because they all had the same goal as improving whatever the situation was. I'm very sorrowful for the recent events in this last election because Obama is not a leader. He is a dictator. We don't need dictators. We don't need dictators from any of you council members either. We need all of you all to try to get together and be like Will Rogers. Thank you.
Is that everybody? All right. I'd like to take chairman's prerogative just very quickly. Ms. Fountain, did you want to, yeah, you weren't on the list, but I noticed you got up. Was this to maybe thank the council for the, your thanks is accepted, and I'll just let it go at that because you really should have been on the sign-up list. Okay? No, I'm talking to Mr. Allison. I
just want to say,
go ahead, just very quickly.
I'll be real quick. As chairman of the Veterans Day Parade, I just want to say thank you to the members of the county council. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a great parade. All right, moving on to remarks from council members. Ms. Wilson.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That was an awesome parade. I don't think I've ever heard such rolling thunder as those 1,200 motorcycles made. It was a very awe-inspiring parade, and I don't think we do enough for our veterans. We'll just keep trying. The other thing is it's really important to note that with everybody working together up here with staff and so forth, you didn't see pages and pages and pages of transfers already into our new budget year. You saw a lengthy list from last budget year, and I think that speaks well for everybody working together and trying to stay on course with the budget. And also, it's really cool to see all the new trail potential coming up in Anderson County, and Mr. Matt Shell and the staff and private citizens working so hard across the county. We have the wonderful Saluda River corridor, both for trails and water sports. Recently we had a young Eagle Scout candidate to come forth with an ADA project that is just so inspiring. And then we have Clemson University working with the equine community to map out, I think, about 40 miles of trails, I heard. And then to get this grant, potential through the Department of Natural Resources, I believe. Is that correct, Mr. Burns? It's just incredible the resources this county has, and it's so heartening to see everybody working well together now, and it's very encouraging, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Mr. Crowder? Mr. Moore?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to read this that was sent. I think a lot of the council members probably have it. I'm going to go ahead and read it to each of you. Freedom Fences is a 501c3, a nonprofit organization that builds fences for chained dogs in Anderson County. The organization is now 2 years old, and in that time has unchained over 150 dogs. Their mission is to educate owners on the dangers of chaining and to lower the euthanasia rate at our shelter by requiring and assisting with the cost of spay-neuter surgery. The families that they assist must demonstrate financial hardship at or below the federal poverty level. As a nonprofit, these services are completely free to the people they assist. Their main goal is to provide a better existence for dogs, and while they are doing this, making Anderson County a better place and a safer place to live. They want to invite everyone to attend a fence building on December the 15th. On this day, they will put up 20 by 20 kennels in place of our 20 by 30 permanent fences. They plan to unchain 50 dogs in one day. The media will be invited, and they want all the council members to come out and see how Freedom Fences is making a difference in the county. A schedule of times and the bill locations will be available closer to the December 15th, and I'm sure time gets closer to that. If you want to know more about Freedom Fences, go to www.freedomfences.org. It's www.freedomfences.org. With that, Mr. Chairman, I thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Moore. Ms. Floyd?
To a pretty rough year of it, but we made it to the end. At the next year, I would like to please speak with, I guess, our present chairman, hoping that he will pass it on. But there are some things that needs to be corrected. First of all, our minutes. We have had signs that the minutes are not being recorded correctly. That may shock some of you, and it may not shock others. There are things that are being left out of the minutes, and every week, every 2 weeks, we sign off on it, and we saying this is correct. I actually brought in information last month to show that there were things being left out the minutes. We talked about having those minutes reread before they come to us, but that's one of the things that needs to be done. I know that I am one of the few people who will stand up and speak, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It could be one or it could be many, as long as there is one that will stand up and speak. I want to tell you, this coming year, I am hoping that we all are going to be different. I'm hoping that we're all going to be treated fairly in what we say and what we do. We have come through a hard for some of you, election this year. And by whatever chance, we made it back here. All right. Those of you who are not satisfied with the local election or the national election, get over it. Get over it. Because we are going to have to work together. We cannot separate this country or this county anymore. All right? Whether the people elected were blue, black, white, or striped, we're going to have to work with what we can get. And everything that we say is just a matter of opinion. Please believe that. It may be your opinion about one thing or somebody, but it's only your opinion. And opinions just like noses. Everybody has one. So the best thing that we can do for each other and to each other is just to get along. with each other. I'm hoping that we can do this on this council. There's some things that are going to have to change on this council. I talked to our present chairman. One night he called me. I talked to my present chairman, and he gave me his commitment. Did you?
I don't know what you're going to say.
He gave me his commitment that we're going to tighten up a little bit, and we're going to watch what's being said on that floor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That is the first step. That is the first step in us working together. If you don't like the idea, if you don't like me, because of whatever reason, get over it. Thank you.
Mr. Dunn.
Mr. Chairman, keep it short. Just like to thank the sheriff and all the other people responsible for giving the employees a Thanksgiving meal. I know y'all been doing that for quite a few years and appreciate it. Look forward to hope the county can do a little bit different next year. But I do appreciate it, and the employees do put all you and I think the management team does and everything. Also, just want to remind to each council member, if he would, probably next council meeting, one after that, we got the Gray Bridge Drive thing. We're going to be voting on. I wished everyone would go out there and take a look at it, be informative about it.
That's Williams.
Yes, sir.
I've been. I went.
So it's going to be voting on. Remember, that guy's been here twice, petitioned, asked us about things, and you can't really comprehend it until you go out there and look at it and see what it is. Just want to give I always have, or you think it or not, I'm willing to work with anybody as long as they're willing to work with me, and that still goes for the future coming up. And I hope everyone has all my fellow council members, people in the audience, people home, county employees and their families, hope they have a blessed Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Waters?
Very well. I'd like to address Mr. Floyd's comments. I represent District 6. On my kitchen cabinet at home, I've got about 6 tax bills there that I'll be paying this week. In District 6, we pay taxes too. I take pride in listening to my constituents, and that's earned me a second term on county council. This is what they want up there. This is how they want to spend their money. If you'll look at my record, you'll see that I've worked with everyone up here. If you'd like, I'd be happy to talk with you afterward too, but I do take pride in what my constituents want, and I will vote for that, and I'll vote to help anybody else up here for what their constituents want. You live in District 5, and I'll work with Mr. Dunn. If you see anything that you need, you just give him a call, and I'll work with him on the things that you need, but just wanted to address your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. We can't do that, sir. No, sir, we cannot do that. This is not a place for discussion. This is not a place for discussion. That's in the ordinance. If you'd like to sit down and read the ordinance sometime, you'll find that under citizens' comments, it is not a place for discussion. We're just not allowed to get into that. It's in the ordinance. I would just like to also echo something Mr. Dunn said. I want to thank the Sheriff's Department for the Thanksgiving dinner, and had a great time. A lot of people showed up, and I'm hoping, too, next year that the county can do a little something to help out there. And with that said, I wish everybody a blessed Thanksgiving, and I hope you eat a lot, have a good time, and the meeting is adjourned.